To stop rising crime, robotic cops were deployed across South Africa. But when a rogue engineer infects one with a forbidden consciousness, the machine meant to save the city becomes the key to its destruction. In a not-so-distant future, crime in South Africa spirals out of control, pushing the government to deploy robot police units known as scouts. These machines are developed by Tetraveil, a tech company that assures the public their bulletproof software, created by Dion, is completely secure. Only Tetraveil can update it, making hacking impossible. The company also builds a larger, remote-operated robot named Moose, designed by Vincent, a former soldier who distrusts AI and prefers machines controlled by humans. At the Tetraveil facility, Scout 22 is returned for repairs. The technician notes this particular unit always comes back damaged. After fixing it, he powers it on, and Scout 22 immediately arms itself and returns to duty. Elsewhere, a gang led by Ninja races through the city trying to dodge the scouts. After crashing into a car, they flee and meet crime boss, Hippo, who's furious over their failed mission. He confiscates their weapons and vehicle, chewing them out for messing up yet again. Hippo gives the gang a brutal ultimatum: bring him 20 million in cash within 7 days or die. To make his threat clear, he shoves a gun into Ninja's mouth, forcing a promise, and then shoots one of the men as a warning. Just then, nearby droids pick up their location and alert the scouts. Moments later, a helicopter arrives with backup. Gunfire erupts as Hippo's crew fights back, setting off powerful explosives. Ninja and his team rush to the van, but they realize the keys are missing. Scouts land and begin shooting, taking down several gang members. 2 human officers join the battle and move forward using Scout 22 as cover. With bodies falling around them, Ninja frantically searches the dead for the keys. One man tries to flee in a car, but a scout quickly destroys it. Ninja manages to damage the helicopter and retrieves the keys from the wrecked car. Meanwhile, officers try to storm an old building, but Hippo blasts Scout 22 with a rocket launcher, badly damaging it. He escapes through a window, and Ninja's team speeds off in the van. The aftermath is broadcast as another successful raid, boosting public confidence in the scouts. Impressed, the government orders 100 more. Vincent, however, is frustrated and calls CEO Michelle about her constant budget cuts. She shows no interest in his Moose project. Dion is called to the lab, where an engineer is examining the damaged Scout 22. The recent blast caused the battery to fuse into its chest, making it beyond repair. Dion tells the engineer to salvage any usable components and scrap the rest. Meanwhile, the thieves return to their hideout, and Ninja gets a call from Hippo, who angrily reminds him about the 7-day deadline. The group debates their next move, trying to avoid more trouble. Yolandi suggests that someone at Tetraveil must have a way to shut down the scouts remotely, so finding that person could be their best shot. After a quick online search, they discover the identity of the scout creator. Elsewhere, Dion is at home working on a personal project. Surrounded by helpful robots, he finally completes a new code designed to give machines true consciousness. Excited by the breakthrough, he rushes to Michelle's office and pitches the idea, saying his creation could make robots more intelligent than humans, capable of composing music or writing poetry. Michelle rejects Dion's request, saying the company is focused on weapons and defense, not on making robots creative. Frustrated, Dion takes matters into his own hands. He grabs Scout 22 along with tools, including the guard key, which allows him to unlock and modify the Scout's programming. He loads everything into his van and drives off, bypassing security without suspicion. Not far from the company, Ninja and his crew ambush him, smashing the van's windows and dragging him out. They knock him unconscious and take him back to their hideout. When Dion wakes up, Ninja demands answers, hitting him to force cooperation. Dion explains that scouts are always active and only their secure software keeps them stable. Ninja doesn't buy it and threatens him again, until America finds Scout 22 in the van. Seeing the opportunity, Ninja orders Dion to reprogram the robot to serve them. Dion warns that the new software hasn't been tested, but the gang insists. He gets to work fixing the robot's damaged parts, though he notes the battery is faulty and will only last 5 days. Then, using the guard key, he installs the new program. Scout 22 wakes up confused and childlike, acting like a frightened toddler. It quickly hides from everyone. Ninja's yelling only makes it more afraid, so the others send him out of the room. When they speak gently, Scout 22 comes out and touches Yolandi's hand. It's also fascinated by Dion's watch, and when given the item, it says its first word, watch. Dion gives Chappie a toy chicken to keep him busy while he continues observing. The robot quickly picks up everyone's names, and Yolandi, noticing his cheerful nature, nicknames him Chappie. Just then, Ninja comes back and gets furious when he sees they're treating the robot like a child. He kicks Dion out and threatens to kill him, but Dion pleads that Chappie needs guidance. Ninja allows him to leave, on the condition that he returns the next day. At Tetravale, Vincent realizes the guard key is missing. He checks the logs and discovers it's been used on Scout 22. The next morning, Vincent finds Dion at his desk researching how babies learn. Spotting the bruises on Dion's face, Vincent casually asks to borrow the guard key. Dion admits it's still inside Scout 22, now called Chappie. When Dion refuses to hand it over, citing protocol, Vincent slams Dion onto the desk and threatens him with a gun. When Dion holds firm, Vincent quickly backs off, pretending it was all a joke. Later that day, Vincent notices Dion taking an unusual route home and decides to tail him. Meanwhile, back at the hideout, Chappie explores his surroundings, touching everything as he tries to understand the world. When Ninja finds him watching TV, he scolds Chappie and insists he should be training. He hands the robot a gun, but Chappie, terrified, fails to shoot properly. Ninja loses patience, but Yolandi steps in before things escalate. She gently starts teaching Chappie simple words using household items, and to her surprise, he soon starts forming full sentences. Chappie begins calling America by his name, but he starts calling Yolandi Mommy, which touches her deeply. America joins in on teaching, but his lessons include curse words and threats. When Dion returns, he's shocked and disappointed to see Chappie talking and acting like a thug. He sits Chappie down and makes him promise never to do anything illegal. Meanwhile, Vincent is spying nearby. He finally confirms the guard key is inside Scout 22 and leaves, starting to plot his next move. Ninja arrives and angrily pushes Dion to the ground and starts kicking him. Just as he pulls out a gun, Yolandi jumps in and stops him from going too far. Dion uses the moment to flee in his van. Yolandi tries to reason with Ninja, reminding him Chappie is still just a child, but their conversation is cut short when America gets a call about a possible job. Eager to toughen Chappie quickly, Ninja and America bring him to a rival gang's base and leave him there alone. Mistaking Chappie for a regular scout, the gang attacks without hesitation, throwing objects, beating him with pipes, and even setting him on fire, and Chappie runs away. Moments later, Chappie is slowly making his way back to the hideout, still damaged and worn out. He stops to rest on a rock, and a stray dog comes over, letting Chappie gently pet it. Shortly after, Vincent and his men show up, having used the company's tracking system to locate him. Vincent hits Chappie with an electronic device, immediately shutting him down. When Chappie wakes up, he's in the back of Vincent's truck. He tries to resist, but Vincent responds by cruelly cutting off one of his arms. Then he opens the panel in Chappie's head and removes the guard key, coldly telling him he's not a real person, just a machine made of wires. Planning to finish the job, Vincent prepares to destroy Chappie completely by cutting off his head. But this time, Chappie fights back harder. He throws the men off him, breaks free, and leaps out of the moving truck. The men fire at Chappie as he runs, hitting him several times, but he keeps going without stopping. Vincent eventually tells them to stop. He thinks Chappie is useless now. Despite his injuries, Chappie manages to make it back to the hideout. Yolandi rushes to his side, furious with Ninja for letting this happen. America helps patch Chappie up using spare parts, giving him a new arm. The next morning, Dion secretly buys a gun. Meanwhile, Chappie plays with a doll, pretending it's Yolandi, calling himself special. Just then, Ninja walks in and apologizes, calling himself Daddy, though he also makes Chappie drop the doll. Trying to toughen him up again, Ninja teaches Chappie how to walk like a gangster and loses his patience when Chappie refuses to use a gun. America steps in and shows Chappie how to use a knife, saying it just puts people to sleep. Chappie believes him, so they teach him how to throw shurikens and swing nunchucks. They even paint him and give him chains to match their style. Later, Ninja spots a car he wants to steal and lies to Chappie, claiming the owner is a thief. Chappie confronts the man, tears the car apart, rips off the door, and scolds him for stealing. Then he throws the man across the road. Ninja and America call Chappie back to the van and scold him for damaging the car, reminding him he only needs to scare people, not destroy everything. They give him a gun, but tell him he doesn't have to fire it. Over the next few hours, Chappie helps steal several cars. Since people assume he's a police scout, they get scared and run away, making it easy for him to take their vehicles. Later, they head to an abandoned building where a group of gangsters are watching dogfights. When they see Chappie, they panic and flee, thinking he's an official scout. Ninja tells Chappie to wait outside while he and America go inside. With the money made from selling the stolen cars, they buy a bunch of weapons. While waiting, Chappie is sad to find a dead dog and another one in a cage. Ninja comes back and points out these dogs represent life. You either die or fight to survive. Chappie thinks he's immortal because he's a robot, but Ninja points out his battery will die soon. To get him a new one, they need to pull off a big heist to get the money, and Chappie agrees to help because he doesn't want to die. That evening, they return to the hideout and find Dion waiting. He's upset to see that Chappie has turned into a gangster, but Chappie no longer respects him, accusing Dion of being cruel for giving him such a short life. Meanwhile, at the Tetravale lab, Vincent uses the guard key to install a new system called Genesis into the Scout software. The Genesis program instantly disables all police robots across the country, leading to massive chaos. Traffic crashes erupt, criminals break free, and Chappie also collapses. As Dion rushes to check on him, Ninja shows up, furious and blaming Dion for what just happened. He tries to start a fight, but Dion pulls a gun to hold him back, allowing him to drag Chappie into his van and drive off toward the company lab. Elsewhere, Hippo hears the news that all the scouts are down. Seeing an opportunity, he declares the city his and unleashes his gang. Criminals flood the streets, causing destruction and chaos with no robots to stop them. The last remaining scout collapses right in front of them, and the gang sets it on fire. At the police station, human officers scramble to arm themselves, despite being underprepared. Back at the Tetravale lab, Vincent watches the disaster unfold on the news, satisfied that his plan is working. He starts deleting Genesis to erase all traces of his actions, but the process takes time. Just then, Dion arrives with Chappies, forcing Vincent to hide. Dion plugs Chappie into the system and finds a warning about malicious software. Instead of deleting it, he isolates Genesis and focuses on reviving Chappie. Meanwhile, the deletion process on the other terminal fails. A few moments later, Chappie wakes up with his personality. Chappie then steals the moose helmet, and both of them runs away, unaware that Vincent is listening their conversation and watching their move. Meanwhile, as police begin surrounding the building, Vincent quickly turns off his computer and flees, forgets to take the guard key with him. Later, Dion meets with Michelle, who demands he fix the situation right away or face serious consequences. Vincent then tries to convince her that this chaos is the perfect excuse to deploy Moose, but she refuses to approve it. Back at the gang's hideout, Chappie fits the helmet on Yolandi to test it, and it works perfectly using their smaller computer. He then tries uploading his consciousness to the Scout model, but his first few attempts fail. To power up the helmet, Chappie connects the gang's computer to all their video game consoles. It works, his consciousness appears on the screen. Now he just needs money to buy a new body. So the gang gets ready for a heist. They block an armored truck on the highway, and Chappie uses a knife on some guards, thinking he's only putting them to sleep. After blowing open the door, Chappie tosses out the remaining guards and grabs the cash, while news helicopters film everything. Chappie notices one of the guards is hurt and realizes something's wrong, but before he can process it, the gang drags him into the van. Meanwhile, at Tetravale, Dion finds out that the Genesis virus came from Vincent's computer. As he's about to expose Vincent, the news starts showing footage of Chappie robbing the truck and attacking guards. Dion leaves in frustration, and Vincent quickly takes the chance to tell Michelle that Dion uploaded Genesis and created a sentient robot. He backs it up with the news footage, and Michelle finally approves the use of Moose. Vincent connects his brain to the war machine and sends it after Chappie, just as Hippo sees the news and declares he wants that robot for himself. Back at Ninja, Chappie celebrates getting the money for a new body, but Ninja comes clean and tells him there never was a body. He lied just to pull off the heist. Furious over Ninja's lie, Chappie throws him to the ground when they return to the base. Dion arrives just then, warning them that something dangerous is coming. He shows Chappie a powerful weapon designed to take down robots. Moments later, Hippo and his gang show up, demanding both the money and Chappie. The gang responds by opening fire, but the fight is cut short when Moose arrives. Under Vincent's control, Moose stomps on America, then brutally tears him apart. Ninja tries shooting at it, but the bullets are useless. Moose activates its flamethrower while Hippo and his men also start shooting. Vincent has Moose fly up and launch cluster bombs, wiping out Hippo's gang except for Hippo, who hides in a pipe. Ninja is still focused on grabbing the money, so Yolandi pulls him to safety. Moose targets Dion, but Chappie steps in and attacks with a special weapon. He sticks an explosive onto Moose and shoots, destroying one of its arms. But Moose shoots back, knocking Chappie down and making him lose the detonator. As Hippo reappears, he and Ninja fire at Moose while Chappie helps Yolandi escape through a broken wall. Together, they go into hiding as Moose's camera is damaged by gunfire. Vincent flies it out of the fight to fix it. Meanwhile, Dion tries to escape in his van, but finds Hippo blocking his way. Ninja tries to save Dion, but Hippo shoots him first. Enraged, Ninja grabs a shovel and crushes Hippo's head, while Chappie pulls Dion into the van to protect him. Just then, Vincent repairs Moose's camera, and the robot resumes its attack, firing as it chases them. Chappie rushes to grab the helmet, but a bullet destroys it. With no other option, Chappie decides to go to the factory for a new one to save Dion. Ninja insists Chappie take Yolandi and escape in the van while he distracts Moose. As soon as the van drives off, Ninja drops to his knees, ready to face the end. Moose prepares to kill him, but Yolandi suddenly jumps out with a special weapon and fires at Moose. Vincent quickly reacts, making Moose turn and shoot her dead before Chappie can get to her. Devastated by Yolandi's death, Chappie finds the detonator and finally blows Moose to pieces. Later, Chappie drives to Tetravale with the injured Dion and finds Vincent, who tries to escape. Chappie throws a knife into his leg to slow him down, but Vincent still limps to the office. Inside, the employees panic as Vincent opens fire on Chappie, but the bullets do nothing. Chappie grabs him and throws him through a window and a wall, then breaks his arm and slams him around the office in a brutal rage. Vincent is left barely alive when Chappie tells him he forgives him and walks away. Outside, the police are closing in, trying to break into the building. Chappie carries the dying Dion to the lab and hooks him up to the helmet, successfully transferring his mind into a robot body. To return the favor, Robot Dion uses Vincent's computer and key to bring all the scout robots back online. He also uploads Chappie's consciousness into a brand new body through the internet. Right then, the police finally storm in. Dion rushes outside and is overjoyed to see Chappie now alive in a new scout form. The two return to the base, and with Ninja, they give Yolandi a proper burial. Meanwhile, the news reports that all robot police have been banned and replaced by humans again. While alone, Chappie discovers the USB with Yolandi's helmet test. Using it, he hacks the factory to build a beautiful female robot and begins uploading Yolandi's consciousness into it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.